Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. Back with another live show, as always, every single weekday. Today, we're going to be talking about the latest on Gyokeres. Is he going to actually arrive for his medical today? When is he going to be an Arsenal player? I mean, tomorrow, the players are leaving for, we are playing a game fast and then leaving for Singapore and Hong Kong for the preseason tour. So will Gyokeres be on that plane or will he be joining the team later? The latest on Rodrygo, there's an update on Rodrygo, an update on Madueke and the shirt number he will be wearing at Arsenal. A lot of you have been asking about that one. And then obviously, another update is, again, this time it's Xavi Simons. I've actually put a poll, if you're watching on YouTube, who would you prefer between Ez and Xavi Simons? Because Fabrice has just confirmed that Arsenal are interested in getting Xavi Simons, but I don't think it's both of them. It has to be one or the other one because they're playing like almost a similar position. So if it's not Ez, it's going to be Xavi Simons. So who would you prefer between the two? If you're watching on a different platform, let me know. If you're watching on repeat, you can comment down below. So let's get started with the latest on Gyokeres. What's the latest on Viktor Gyokeres? Man, we have waited. We have waited. Now, according to Fabrizio, he says that on Viktor Gyokeres, the conversations are continuing in London. There are add-ons to clarify. Arsenal only want to pay 3 million guaranteed add-ons plus 7 million more complicated. Sporting want 10 million in easy add-ons. Arsenal remain confident and optimistic. Well, in terms of add-ons, that is a huge gap. It's not like Arsenal want to pay 5 million guaranteed and 5 million in more complicated add-ons. No. This is 3 million Arsenal want to pay in guaranteed add-ons, and Sporting want up to 10 million. So we went through the add-ons on the live show on Wednesday, and you say that Sporting want 2.5 million if Gyokeres plays 20 games, another 2.5 million if Gyokeres plays up to 40 games, and then the next season, another 2.5 million if Gyokeres plays 20 games, and another 2.5 million if Arsenal make it to the Champions League next season. So as we discussed the other day, all those ones are guaranteed. All those add-ons are basically guaranteed because you would expect Gyokeres to play at least 20 games. You'd expect him to play another 20 games this season again. And then you'd obviously expect him to play another 20 games next season. And then obviously you'd expect Arsenal to qualify for the Champions League next season unless things go very, very wrong. All those ones are guaranteed. So that is what Sporting wants. Sporting wants all that money to be guaranteed. So if that's the case, basically we are not paying, 54 million? In pounds, basically, we're not paying that. Basically, we're going to be paying 64 million pounds, basically, because those 10 million are guaranteed, add-ons are guaranteed. Now, Arsenal do not want that. Arsenal want to pay 54 million pounds guaranteed, and then 3 million in easy add-ons, maybe one of those 20 appearances. Then Arsenal wants the other 7 million to be more complicated. So more complicated is stuff like, if Arsenal win the Premier League, we are going to give them another 2.5 million. If Arsenal make it to the Champions League quarterfinal, we're going to give them another 2.5 million. And if Arsenal or if Gyokeres scores 20 plus goals in the Premier League, we give them another 2.5 million. So those are just examples of more complicated ones. Or, if Arsenal win a Champions League title or something, those are more complicated. But Sporting want it to be more guaranteed. So basically what Sporting want is, it's basically not even add-ons. Basically, Sporting wants 64 million and not 54 million. That is basically it. So the conversions will continue. Will continue again. I don't know if they're going to finalize it anytime soon, if it's going to be today or tomorrow or the next day after that, but you're going to keep on waiting. This one's, now that Fabrizio has clarified this is very complicated once again. This is going to take a bit of time because that is a gap of like 7 million right there in terms of add-ons. So yeah, I know Arsenal fans will just say, just pay, just agree on that on those add-ons, but Arsenal will not just agree on those add-ons. So unless they meet in the middle and then Arsenal maybe accept paying 6 million in guaranteed add-ons and then 4 million in more complicated ones. But as always, we know how tough it is to negotiate with the Sporting president, and he's going to get as much money as he wants for Gyokeres. So it's going to continue taking time. And now that Fabrizio has clarified that, then we see why it's taken the whole week, because the guys arrived on Monday morning. We're now heading into Friday night, and there's still no conclusion in terms of add-ons. Everything else has already been agreed, as David Austin reported on Monday or Sunday, I think. But yeah, the add-ons not yet guaranteed. So, because at that point they said everything had been agreed in terms of add-ons and also the fee. So I don't know if the agent arrived in London and then Sporting changed something, or Sporting said, you know what, we've decided not to make the add-ons complicated. We want them as easy as possible. So maybe that is the case, but that will take again a couple of more days. Hopefully they do sort it out right soon. Sky Sports said reports that Arsenal and Sporting reached an agreement for Viktor Gyokeres over a fixed fee of 55 million. So it was around 54.6 million. So we can just use 55 million on Sunday. And negotiations this week have been around the conditions of the 8.5 million add-ons. Gyokeres playing some part in Arsenal's preseason Asia tour has not been ruled out. So Arsenal is playing tomorrow against Watford in a behind closed doors game. So you wouldn't expect maybe Zubimendi and Nørgaard will feature in that one, maybe Kepa, but the other signings, Madueke and Mosquera, wouldn't expect them to play in that one. And then on Wednesday, we're playing against AC Milan. The weekend and the following weekend after that, you're playing against Newcastle, and then you're going to be playing against Tottenham in Hong Kong. So for me, I wanted Gyokeres to be there for that game against AC Milan. He might still be there for that game against AC Milan, but right now it's looking like, yeah, there's a big chance that he won't be in that game. Even if he signed for us tomorrow, he probably will not be in that game against AC Milan. So the way it continues, those add-ons, very complicated. And as Seth has said, there's still a chance it could be in that Asian tour on that plane to head to play AC Milan. But let's continue waiting. So again, Seth says that Viktor Gyokeres is playing a part. Yeah, we've already talked about that one. So it's basically the same thing. So he could be part of that team. Has not been ruled out with the club departing on Sunday. Gyokeres is playing a part in Arsenal's Asia. So yeah, so he's definitely not going to be on the plane tomorrow. So maybe he's going to arrive later like Calafiori did. If he arrives before that game against AC Milan, perfect. But if he doesn't, then yeah, we definitely know that it was a very, very complicated scenario. This reminds me of the Declan Rice one. The moment you get Gyokeres, it's going to be like a holiday, because this looks like it has been very, very complicated in terms of the money. They've already agreed on the fee, and somehow there's still a problem in terms of the add-ons. Maybe they even agree on the add-ons, and then they'll have something else to bother, or something else that they're not going to be agreeing on. But let's wait and see what happens with Gyokeres today and tomorrow. Let's see if they actually agree on something as soon as possible. Now, Fabrizio also said Viktor Gyokeres' agents remain in London for the fourth day. Today is now the fifth day, with Arsenal and Sporting working on agreeing add-ons in every single minute. The Gunners are unhappy with Sporting, who are fighting on every detail. So what a complicated team to negotiate with, man. They've been standing firm, and fair play to them. Again, as I always say, I wouldn't want to lose Gyokeres for little money. This is a player that you need to get a lot of money for. So I do understand why they do that, but us are not going to budge, and Sporting are not going to budge. So unless the agent once again does something crazy and pays his own money, or Gyokeres does something crazy and pays his own money for the second time, again, these negotiations are going to keep on going again for a couple of more days, unfortunately. Now, what's the latest on Rodrygo? According to Court Offside, I thought yesterday he said, for me, I don't think Rodrygo is going to join Arsenal. I thought that story is basically over. We are not going to get Rodrygo because we've already paid 50-something million for Madueke, and you're being linked to Eze, and now you're being linked to Xavi Simons, and the Gyokeres situation, you're going to need to add more money to get it done. All that, I didn't think we were going to get Rodrygo. But Court Offside is reporting this today. Sources with connections to the agents industry have informed Court Offside that Rodrygo looks increasingly likely to leave Real Madrid this summer. Interested clubs are unlikely to go near his 100 million euro asking price, but Arsenal could test the waters with an 80 million euro offer. So again, there's still other people reporting that Arsenal could go for with an 80 million euro offer. Some people are saying maybe less than that, but people are suggesting that Arsenal are going to try to sign Rodrygo. Now, again, I still don't think it's possible to get Rodrygo. If we are able to pull off these deals, then it really means that Arsenal in a really good financial spot. Yesterday, we talked about Arsenal's finances. I think it was Keith who reported it, and they said that Arsenal are in a very, very good position financially. The fact that we sold Smith Rowe last season and sold Nketiah and sold Ramsdale, all these guys, and didn't really spend that money, and we didn't sign anyone in January. And on top of that, we reached the Champions League semi-final. You get a lot of money for that as well, and finishing second in the league 3 times in a row, you also get a lot of money for that. So maybe Arsenal do actually have a lot of money to spend. Even last season, he didn't really spend that much money. Sterling was free, Neto was free. We weren't really paying all of Sterling's wages, and then Merino was a cheap buy, 20-something million, and Calafiori was our most expensive signing, but it didn't really make big signings last summer. So Arsenal do have a lot of money to spend this summer, so maybe they could actually shock us. Maybe that is one reason that they really brought Bata. We know one of the reasons was to try and get us a striker. I already know that was a lot to do in this Arsenal team in terms of giving players new contracts and selling players and buying big players. But maybe another reason they brought in Bata was because they knew we are going to need like 7 or 8 players to be signed this transfer window, and we were going to need to spend like more than 250 million. And they decided that Andrea Bata was the guy to do that for us, and they decided to appoint him. So as of now, I don't think anyone knows how many total players we're going to sign and which players we're actually going to sell. So let's wait and see. But Rodrygo could be a possibility if we make an 80 million offer. Now, the other thing is, will Real Madrid accept that even if Arsenal made that offer? Again, I really doubt. And unless it got really desperate, I still don't think Real Madrid would panic though and sell Rodrygo for 80 million euros when they want 100 million euros. Someone else suggested, can we get him on loan? I don't think Madrid would want to send Rodrygo out on loan. So again, it's very complicated to see all this happening within 1 month, because the Premier League for us is starting less than a month from now, and we're still trying to finalize Gyokeres. Most of us already want Eze to join the team. So is it going to also be possible to negotiate with Rodrygo? I mean, if you feel like it's tough to negotiate with Sporting and to get Gyokeres, I mean, the Rodrygo one will take another 1 month to get it done. So yeah, very complicated. Let's see how that one goes as well. Now, next up today, Fabrizio has reported on Xavi Simons. A few of you have been suggesting Xavi Simons should be, joining Arsenal. Can we try for Xavi Simons? Could be. So Fabrizio reported this less than an hour ago. Chelsea and Arsenal among clubs attentive to Xavi Simons' situation this summer. He's prepared to leave Leipzig, as revealed since May, and Premier League top clubs are informed. No bids or talks yet, nothing concrete with Barca so far. So obviously Chelsea are interested, no surprises there. Chelsea usually just buy any players and they keep them for 1 year, 2 years, and then they sell them. That is definitely not Arsenal's strategy, to buy players for 1 year, 2 years, and then offload them. Chelsea can do that very easily and sell them for a lot of money as well. Now, Xavi Simons or Eze. So if you're watching on a different platform, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a poll in the chat right now. Would you rather get Eberechi Eze at Arsenal, or would you rather go for Xavi Simons from Leipzig? Which one would you prefer? Because I don't think you can get, you're going to get both of them again, unless to get Rodrygo and you try for both of these players. Now, Xavi Simons is like Eze in terms of position. Xavi Simons can actually play more. He can play as a striker, as an attacking midfielder, as a second striker, as a left winger, as a right winger. If you take a look at his numbers over the last 4 or 5 years, he's played all of those positions more than 25 times each. So he is definitely very versatile in terms of that. Now, his numbers are not bad as well. Over the last couple of years at Leipzig, he scored, he had 19 goal contributions last season. I think 11 goals and 8 assists. And before that, he had 25 goal contributions for Leipzig as well the previous season. So in terms of finding the net and assisting, he's quite good at that. Now, he also played for PSV before that. I think we actually played against him when we were in the Europa League. We played against him, Gakpo and Madueke. So actually, there's a picture of Xavi Simons and Madueke. So could we see this celebration at Arsenal next season? The two of them. By the way, we are still waiting for Madueke to be announced. Oh my goodness. Madueke finished his medical like 3 days ago. We're still waiting. So yeah, Madueke and Xavi Simons there together at PSV. Could we have them reuniting at Arsenal next season? Now, there's one problem with this particular deal. You know which team Xavi Simons is coming from? Leipzig. You know which player we just failed to take from Leipzig? Sesko. We've tried to sign Sesko for 2 summer transfer windows in a row, and it's been very complicated. Working with Leipzig, and Arsenal have been frustrated that Leipzig increased the price of Sesko, and the agreement they had last season, they changed the agreement this season. Arsenal thought it was going to be 50 million. All of a sudden, it's 80 million or something. If it was that complicated to get Sesko over the last 2 years, we want another player from there. Probably Leipzig are not happy with Arsenal right now anyway, because we've kind of maybe left them in a tough position because they expected Arsenal to get Sesko, maybe give them that money, and then they go and get another player in that position. But we've not done that. So probably Leipzig are not happy with that, and they're not going to negotiate with us for a different player. Now, even if they are going to negotiate with us for Xavi Simons, the price that was quoted a couple of weeks ago is more than 60 million. Now, if Arsenal say we only have 50 million for Xavi Simons. Leipzig don't look like the team that are going to say, yeah, we're going to take the 60 million. Not at all. So that is definitely a big problem. I don't think it's going to be an easy deal to do. So for me, between Eze and Xavi Simons, even if it was easy to get Xavi Simons, for me that is very easy. I would be going for Eze. I mean, they're around the same price. Xavi Simons might actually be a little bit higher because for Eze, there's add-ons of 8 million after the 60 million. Eze has the Premier League experience, and I do really just prefer Eze as a player. Xavi Simons is not a bad player ever since he's didn't really work out for him at PSG, and he was a good youngster at Barcelona, and he did well at PSV and also at Leipzig currently. But yeah, the way he's been sold off by all of these teams, you're like, why is he always getting sold every single? He's like Joao Felix. You always ask yourself, can you really go for a player like Felix who's sold by every single team every single season? There has to be an issue there, but still a good player, still very young. I think he's like 22 years of age, but between the two, I'll definitely go for Eze. But Fabrizio's confirmed that Arsenal are looking at Xavi Simons as well. Now, all these players that we are looking at, it has a feeling that we are going to get at least 8 players, because even despite Fabrizio telling us we're still very serious on Eze, we are still being told that Arsenal are looking at Rodrygo, Arsenal are looking at Xavi Simons. So could it, for me, okay, I do still think Gyokeres is going to be an Arsenal player 100%. So I'm not even really thinking about Gyokeres. For me, he's already an Arsenal player. So at the moment, hopefully, because if that fails, I don't think Arsenal have a plan B right now heading into August, so they have to get it done. For Xavi Simons and Eze, I think if we get Eze, we might still get another winger, but it depends on the price as well. And I've been thinking about Trossard over the last couple of days. I started this transfer window by saying I don't want Trossard and Martinelli, any of them, to leave, because I want a lot of players in our team we can use in different competitions. And then I was like, okay, if we get 28 million, if it allows us to get Eze, then that is fine. But I've been thinking about the last couple of days. I'm like, I'm not sure I want Trossard to go, for me, is a better finisher than players like Martinelli, and that's just the truth. And if you remember the 23-24 season, when we were beating everyone, 4 goals against Newcastle, 6 against Sheffield, 6 against West Ham, 5 against Burnley. I think we scored 5 against Chelsea that season. That season where we scored 6 against Lens, all these teams. That season, Trossard was very good. Between January and May, Trossard and Havertz were scoring every single game. Odegaard, Saka, that period where we were trashing every single team, Trossard was good. Trossard actually got more than 20 goal contributions that season. So you're like, how often? He's got 17 goals. It's very easy to forget. Last season, Trossard was not great, but literally just 1 year ago, Trossard had 17 goal contributions for us, and he was scoring big goals. Against Bayern Munich, against Wolves, the winner, against FC Porto. Trossard was scoring some big goals. Is he completely finished as a player 1 year later? I'd not like to think so. So if someone came and offered right now 20 million for Trossard, I wouldn't let him go, to be honest. Because someone yesterday said that Trossard is our best player off the bench. I do agree with that. And even as a starter sometimes, not great, but he does know where the goal is most of the times. Last season, everyone was bad, man. You saw the kind of season Odegaard had. You saw the season, Martinelli had, the season Trossard had. I don't think we were great, man. The only players who were great last season were Saka before he got injured, Lewis Kelly, Nwaneri, and maybe Declan Rice, obviously. In terms of the midfield going up front, we know the likes of Gabriel are very good, but in terms of forward line going up front, we only had like three players, and let's say Merino as well, but everyone else, it didn't work out, man. For everyone else, you can even add Sterling on that list. Everyone was so bad last season. So was that a contribution to why Trossard was also very bad? I'd be looking to keep Trossard, to be honest, if we didn't get a big offer. But if you do that, you have to give him a 1-year contract, because his contract is expiring next year. So let's see, because I've been looking how many times has our player gotten 17 goals in a season. Trossard did that for us 1 year ago. I don't think we've been having those numbers apart from Saka. So I think Havertz got 15 that season as well. So yeah, I'd be looking to keep Trossard, to be honest. Next up, there's 400 of you watching on YouTube and Facebook. I appreciate it. So next up, let's talk about Madueke. And most of you have been asking which number Madueke is going to be wearing. I don't know who this Chris guy is, because he has less than 1,000 followers. Now he has 1,000 followers, but a lot of people have been retweeting what he said. So he said that Madueke will be wearing the number 20 next season. I think that would be the right choice, obviously. Many people did not want him getting 14. I don't think us would have given him 14 too much pressure. Wouldn't have given him 10 as well. So Madueke will be riding the number 20. There's already been leaked photos of Madueke. I don't know why Arsenal would let it get to that stage where there's leaked photos of him. I mean, just announce him, because there's no reason of letting the leaked photos go out and leaked videos go out. It just kills the announcement completely. But maybe Arsenal are doing that because of two reasons. Maybe Madueke is not going to be part of the Asian tour anyway, because he's just been playing the Club World Cup with Chelsea. And then number two, so he's going on holiday. And then number two, maybe Arsenal don't want to, I announced Madueke right away because of everything that is going on. They want to maybe finish the Gyokeres deal fast, and then maybe finish the Mosquera run fast, and then make a bid for Eze, and then announce Madueke, to make fans a little bit happy before announcing Madueke. They've probably seen what has been going on online, so maybe they don't want to, put Madueke in a tougher position. So they're like, let's hold it a little bit. So that is just my scenario or theory, but maybe they announce him tonight, who knows. But yeah, he's finished his medical 3 days ago, so I don't understand why he hasn't been announced up until today. But let's wait and see what's the latest on Madueke later on today. So lastly, I think this is the last one. Let's see. Yeah, the last one is on a 17-year-old. So I don't know how many of you are interested in that. But yes, we've signed a promising youngster. Arsenal have agreed a deal to sign 17-year-old talented striker Will Wright. Maybe it's the next Ian Wright, who knows? Documents being prepared. Arsenal won the race despite interest from several clubs. So we've signed this youngster Will Wright. I think it's from a championship club. I think it is a championship. Is it Stoke? I think it's Stoke. Let me just confirm. I'm not 100% sure. Will Wright, footballer, not musician. I'm not looking for a musician. Where is he? Salford. Where did I read Stoke from? Did he play for Stoke? Or maybe both of them start with S, so I thought it was Stoke. So Salford. That is the team that is owned by Gary Neville and those guys, right? Yeah, that's the team that is owned by those Man United guys, I think. So yeah, that is the latest player that we've signed. So somehow Arsenal have signed 2 strikers, 2 forward players the last 2 days, but none of them is Gyokeres. One of them is Will Wright, and the other one is Olivia Smith for the Arsenal women. So we've managed to sign 2 strikers without one of them being Gyokeres. Crazy. Even Snoop Dogg has joined Swansea. So we've had a here we go for Snoop Dogg before having a here we go for Gyokeres. Crazy. So that is the latest on Madueke, Xavi Simons, Rodrygo, Gyokeres. So for me, I don't think Gyokeres and Madueke is enough. We definitely need another forward player. So let's see how it goes with that one. Let me come to you guys' comments. Watching live from Kenya, appreciate you, Joseph. Let's do this. We will surely get our man, nevertheless, the frustration, says Richard. Yeah, I do think we're going to get him, but obviously it's when you wait for something for so long, especially because we're so desperate for a striker, there's obviously that feeling of, what if we don't get him? What happens after that? I don't think they can afford not to get him, because today is July 18th. So imagine if Arsenal didn't get Gyokeres today, what is the next plan? Right now, you're not going to get Sesko anyway. And by the time you forget about Gyokeres, you cannot get the other players. Players like Watkins won't be available. And on top of that, the agent and the Gyokeres himself, they've already given up their money. So can you really go back on that? I don't think so. So you don't really get deals like that. And I'm sure Arsenal know. So maybe eventually Arsenal were going to pay that money that Sporting wanted, but the agent jumped in to make it quicker. But maybe because the agent paid that money, maybe Arsenal decide, we're just going to pay the add-ons, because the other 10 million we didn't really pay it. Gyokeres and the agent paid it. So I guess it's fine. Let's just pay it. Maybe we could end up deciding on that, but it depends on how strong Barca is in terms of the negotiations, how much it does not want to blink. Again, if we are able to get Gyokeres with those add-ons that we want, and we didn't also pay the original price that Sporting wanted, then well done to Barca. So let's hope things go well in terms of that one. Watching from Sierra Leone, says Silva. Thank you for watching. Alex from Ghana, good afternoon, guys. Nice show, keep it up, please. What's happening to Gyokeres? We talked about Gyokeres. For me, I prefer Eze than Rodrygo, says Aminu. What about Eze and Xavi Simons? Between those two, I'd also go for Eze. Also, it's much cheaper. Edu is watching from Cameroon. Thank you. And Philip is really frustrated. Watching from Nigeria, says Rubino. Emmanuel says, hi, Glenn is looking frustrating and senseless to offer 80 million for Rodrygo, not reaching an agreement to sign Gyokeres up to now. So because we are hearing all of these other things, Arsenal might still pay 60 million for Eze, Arsenal might still pay 20, 30 million for another left back, Arsenal might still pay 60 million for Xavi Simons, we might still pay 80 million for Rodrygo. That makes me believe we have enough money and they're still going to reach an agreement for Gyokeres, because if we were stranded those days where we had 100 million to spend on the dot and nothing else, then those days were very difficult. But I do think we're still going to get Gyokeres. Good afternoon. Good day. I'm Akuso, watching from Abuja, Nigeria. Please also should do something about the issues of Gyokeres, because we need this guy seriously. We do wish he's there for the start of preseason, because they've already had that training spell at or training camp in Spain. And then now they're already heading off to Asia. So I wanted him to be in by then. I cannot see the YouTube comments for some reason, so let me just check them on my phone. This deal for Gyokeres, this is too much now. Every day it's here we go, but anything is helping. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of time, Godfrey. So as we've said, all these things that are going on with the add-ons and all that. So I do think they did change something. Sporting, they did add something in terms of the add-ons, and they did change something with that. So even after agreeing, so yeah, that is why it became complicated. Let's see. Bashim says, watching live from Kenya. Thank you. Why Gyokeres deal taking so long? Because of those add-ons and disagreements. Bean says we need Gyokeres, please. Glenn really want Gyokeres. I think just all of us as Arsenal fans say, Simon. Yeah, man, we're all praying for Gyokeres, man. That will be the big signing for us. I actually didn't think we were going to get Gyokeres at the beginning of the transfer window. I was like, Arsenal never really go for such kind of players. This time, if we do, then we are really in a good place. So, guys on YouTube, I cannot see your comments, but I'm just going to read them out. Let's start with this one. Wait, Tambi says I'll go for Eze anytime over Xavi. Eze has EPL experience. I agree. Eze wants to join Arsenal. I agree as well. And Leipzig is the twin brother of Sporting. Yeah, maybe probably even worse, because we've been trying to sign Sesko for 2 years. Kelvin says, big up Glenn joining in from Kenya. I'd rather Eze than Xavi. Is already Premier League proven and can play down the left or as a 10. I just want to hear Gyokeres is done 100%. Douglas says, good afternoon, Glenn. I'm an all Gunners. Is it possible to get Rodrygo on loan with obligation to buy? That is Real Madrid. Accepted. That would be great. If you can be able to get that done on loan, that would be fantastic. I think that particular deal can happen next season and not this season if he stays at Real Madrid. Colapo says Arsenal should announce Gyokeres before preseason. Hopefully, that is the case. There's usually a player or two usually announced when there's preseason going on, like Zinchenko and those guys. RK says, how are you doing, Glenn? Please subscribe and smash the like button. Thank you for being a member, RK. I appreciate it. Derek says, thanks, Glenn, for live chats. I'm very interactive. And Derek from Uganda, I appreciate it. Derek, we're all Arsenal fans, man. You're all trying to get the striker that we want, get the winger that we need. We deserve to win something, man. Let's hope. I rewatched the 23-24 season. That's why I'm talking like that about Trossard as well, because I rewatched it on Wednesday night, the whole season. We really deserve to win the league that season, man. We played so well. We just need something more, just like the Gyokeres and people like that. Because players like Declan Rice are very, very good already. So give them someone else to help them. Adama says, good afternoon. I'm watching from Sierra Leone. You need Eze more than Xavi. I agree. Derek, it's because of the add-ons. Kennedy says Arsenal need to stick to Eze. Why Xavi now? I guess you just have multiple options just to, just in case one doesn't work out. Douglas also says then sign Eze and Jorel Hato. So I think after signing Mosquera, you're not also going to get Jorel Hato. It's a lot of money. Jorel Hato would cost another like 40 million. Glenn, you're really doing a good job. Thank you, Joseph, for watching. So that's the latest recap on Gyokeres what's on screen right now. And the add-ons is what is complicated. Arsenal wanted 3 million. add-ons to be guaranteed, but Sporting wanted the 10 million to be guaranteed. So basically, when the add-ons are guaranteed, we're basically paying 58 million, but Sporting want us to pay the 65 million pretty much because the 10 million is going to be guaranteed. Fraser says only Eze is the solution to our trophy drought, and Gyokeres. I think if you get Eze and don't get Gyokeres, you might still improve. There's people who've been saying, maybe if you have Eze and you have players like Zubimendi, players like Martinelli might improve. Probably, but you also need a striker like Gyokeres there for sure. Did I miss any comment on? So I'm going to check the poll soon. On Eze, today, no, Joseph. This Gyokeres drama has to end today, man. I wish, Sammy. I wish it could end right now and you can just finally have our striker. He needs to join the team. I've never seen someone wanting to join our team so badly, and up until now, we're still waiting, man. So unfortunate. I actually feel bad for him. You can imagine he's just been waiting and waiting. He's not training. He's just sitting around, just waiting for to be announced for Arsenal and Sporting to agree. It's just like Brentford and Man United in Buemo. Buemo said he wanted to join Man United like 2 months ago, but if the other team does not want the money that you're paying, then it basically becomes a waste of time up until you pay that money. As all day says, Gyokeres, what's wrong with Gyokeres, please? I'm beginning to fear. No, there's no other team that is going to hijack or anything like that. This is a case of just the add-on. So I do think I don't think Gyokeres will fail to join Arsenal because Arsenal and Sporting do not agree on 7 million add-ons. That would be a criminal way of throwing away next season's title. I'm tired of the wait on Gyokeres deal, says Aziz. Yeah, because it's Gyokeres and you really need a striker. I'm not going to be tired, because if you get tired, man, we're in problems. You have to stay strong until you get the striker that we want. We've already stayed strong for 3 years as is, so we might as well just keep going up until we get the striker that we need. So I also can't see the results on the YouTube polls. Let me just check here on the computer what the results are for Eze and Xavi. So if you're watching on Facebook, comment down below. If you could choose one between Eze and Xavi Simons and the price was the same, who would you choose between them? Let me check what people have voted for so far. 172 votes so far. Oof. 87% have said Eze. Oh, yeah. Do we even need any more votes? 87% have said Eze, 13% Xavi Simons. So, yeah, that is as convincing as you like. 87% prefer Eze, and I agree with 87%. Get me Gyokeres, and then you get me Eze following that, and I'm happy. And if you can get one more player after that, that is fine. The next player doesn't even have to, as I said, doesn't have to be Rodrygo if you don't have enough money. I wish it was, but if because Noni signed a new contract and is going to stay, and we are hoping, Saka can stay fit next season and they get kind of a better season next season. So if you don't sign anyone else, if you sign Eze and Gyokeres and don't sign anyone else, then Martinelli and Trossard can definitely not go. We cannot let go of any of them. If you don't sign a winger, we cannot let any of them go. If you let one of them go, you definitely need someone, and Arsenal might even get someone and still keep them. I wouldn't even mind that as well. So let's see how it goes. Eze, love this guy. Eze says Ibrahim as well. Hamid says Eze as well for life. Eze says Philip. Eze. So everyone wants Eze. I'd like to hear from people who've said Xavi Simons, why they'd want Xavi Simons. For me, it's Eze 100%. His numbers are great. Xavi Simons' numbers are great as well, but his Premier League experience is very, very important for us next season. Sammy says the only problem is the window. This window doesn't have strikers, but if we get Eze and Gyokeres, we are winning the Champions League, says Sammy. We definitely do not have enough strikers in the window. The only strikers who could improve our team, Gyokeres, maybe Sesko, and maybe Isaac. So Isaac is not possible. Isaac is not going to leave Newcastle. That's why I was not worried when we had that Liverpool want Isaac. Newcastle are not going to sell Isaac unless you pay 200 million or something. So we have to get Gyokeres, and for me, Gyokeres has been the best over the last couple of years. Get him, and then if he's at Arsenal for the next 5 years and hits the ground running, we don't have to think about strikers again anytime soon. Or maybe we'll just be looking for backups, not really the main strikers, because getting a main striker is very tough. You see the way Man City got Haaland, they had to play like a couple of seasons without a striker. They had to play Foden up front and stuff like that before they got a striker. Liverpool also still looking for a striker up until today because Nunes didn't work out for them. Newcastle have a striker. Man United have been looking for a striker for years. They get Zax, it doesn't work out. They get Højlund, it doesn't work out. They try for someone else. So getting a striker who's going to be there for you for 4 or 5 years, difficult. And then you don't have to worry about strikers again. So everyone is saying Eze, from Daniel, from Isaiah, from Conte. Everyone is saying Eze. Between Eze and Xavi, I prefer Eze because of Premier League experience. He's doing a great job at Crystal Palace. He's their best player for me. We are getting tired, but Sporting President is not a good person to deal with. To be fair, Alex, I do think that is how it's supposed to be with your players. That has taught us a lesson. That is how we are supposed to be with our players as well. If you want, even whenever Real Madrid wants Saliba, we're not like, yeah, okay, 100 million, fine. You can't, no. 180. We want to 180. And then you just, you don't even talk to them for that 2 months. You're like 180, even 200 million, or else you're not talking at all. So that is how it's supposed to be. And then when they pay that 180 million, you tell them we need another 20 million in add-ons. Yeah, all that. You make it like 300 million by the time they sign him. Believe in the process, Mustafa. We need Gyokeres so that Saka gets more assists next season. If we get Gyokeres, I'm predicting Odegaard is going to get 15 assists next season. And probably Saka is going to get at least 10. So both players will be on double figures if we get Gyokeres up front. Because remember, we still have players like Merino who was scoring a lot of goals. So even if he comes off the bench for 10, 20 minutes, like he was doing last season, he can still get you those goals. So that means more assists from Saka and Odegaard. And I think Saka and Merino didn't really play together that much because maybe at the end of the season for like 4 games or something, 5 games. Because I remember when Merino was starting to play for our striker, Saka was injured. And then I think maybe against Madrid and PSG, that's when that they really played together. But yeah, there was like 1 month or 2 months there that Saka and Merino didn't really play together because Saka was injured and Merino was playing. And when Saka was playing, Merino wasn't playing. The true missing part in the Arsenal team is Eze and Gyokeres, Fraser. But yeah, I do agree with the Eze part as well. Douglas says Eze. Everyone agrees on Eze. Let me check for the last couple of comments on the poll was still asking for Gyokeres. That's the latest on the latest on Gyokeres and what we need to do to get Gyokeres. We have to pay those add-ons. They have to be Arsenal want it not to be guaranteed. So yeah, tough situation to be in. No, let me just check. It's quick. Let's see. Let me take a couple of more comments. Let's hope we do get some kind of news tonight. Abu says Eze is better than Simmons. Get Gyokeres, and Eze definitely your favorite, bro. Sandy says Gyokeres has given all to Arsenal, so Arsenal must not disappoint him. I definitely agree, Sandy. He's done everything. His agent as well. Eze is better. Eze all the way says lines of genius. Mosquera says Eze all day. Aden says I'm sorry, but Xavi Simmons would run rounds against Eze. He's a very good player. I'm not sure he'd run rings around Eze. I mean, also, you have to look at the fact that Eze is more Premier League experience. I think he's like 4 or 5 years older than him as well. So in terms of who I'd want right now, it's Eze. Now, the only other issue I also have on that one, Aiden, is he always plays like a season and then he's moved on. Like, he played like a season for PSG, moved on, another season for PSV, moved on to a different team, Leipzig, they want to move him on already. So I'm always like, what is the reason these teams are all say he's already going to be playing for his 5th team or something by the age of 22. So Eze has been Crystal Palace's best player for a couple of since Zaha left. So Him and Olise before Olise left as well. If we get Gyokeres, it's going to be a good thing to watch Arsenal play football, says Steven. Yeah, for sure. Aziz says, I'm tired of waiting. As is the real guy, says Godwin. Says, as a preferred, let Martinelli and Leo stay for Rodrygo cannot be bought. I agree. Let's see. Viktor showed great loyalty to Arsenal, and he didn't even have a reason to do that. So really, I'm happy for him, and hopefully he gets that move. He has been pushing his moves and how he shuts all clubs down just to move to Arsenal. Trust me, he'll give his all. I love him for that, says Steven. Same here, man. If a guy is going to leave his girlfriend to join you, yeah, you better just bring him right away and pay his own money. And his agent also pays his own money. Eze and Gyokeres will be good to go, says Pinky. Eze and Gyokeres, yeah. Eze and Gyokeres, I'll be happy with that. I don't know if you're going to sign any other player after that, but if you bring for me Eze and Gyokeres and we don't sell Martinelli or Trossard, I'm going to be happy with that. That is going to be enough players. There's how many forward players will that be? Saka, Madueke, Noni, Martinelli, Trossard, Eze, Odegaard, Havertz, Gyokeres, Merino. That's like 10 players. So that is enough rotation. You can start with Gyokeres, Saka, and whoever you want to start with on the left side, probably Eze or someone. And then, even in the Carabao Cup, we don't have to, look at the bench, like, oh my goodness, we don't have anyone. No, in that game, you can change the whole front three, probably change a couple of defenders as well. When we get Gyokeres, I think he'll win Golden Boot and having many hat-tricks next season. Yeah, we don't even score hat-tricks. I know Jesus and Katie have scored one each recently for us, but yeah, we never have anyone who always scores a hat-trick, at least one a season. Even Saka himself has never gotten a hat-trick. He gets 2 goals and then gets subbed off. So, yeah, it's been long. I think Gyokeres would be a player that would be like, yeah, I want to play until I get a hat-trick in this game. So we'll be back with another video later on. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.